Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. So, April, my goodness, April is here. So, Susanna's project, which is the calendar, every month she gives us an image that we can use as our inspiration to do a page for a calendar or add it into a journal or pretty much do what you will with it. So, let's begin. This month it's all about fruit. Now I've never stitched anything like this, so this is going to be a bit of an adventure. So I've got my Roxy Journal of Stitchery. I think it was volume 1. I did a few journals and I've got a few pages free. So there's our February hearts, and if I flip through, I've got space here and there should be some blanks. So there's still a few pages in my book. So there's 1 there, 2, 3, 4, and then the journal will be complete. So I'm pleased that Susanna's doing this project because I knew I had some spare pages in my journal that I could utilise. So, okay, a bowl of fruit. I've got one idea, and that is using some camphor quilt. So I've got this pack of offcuts. Don't ask me where I got it from. I've been collecting morsels like this for a couple of years. I know in the box that I have it in, I have Foragers, Lisa Mattock Foragers sticker here. But I don't think these are from Lisa. I think Lisa's were all this blue tone. This one, I think when I was searching Etsy, I just kept typing in camphor quilt offcuts and up popped a random shop. So Lisa definitely doesn't have any on her website at the moment. But if you go to Etsy and type camphor quilt, I think you might be able to find something. So one idea is actually pulling one of these apart and seeing what's inside and then using those fabrics to make my piece. So it'll be a bit of a lucky dip. So I thought that might be a bit of fun. But before we get to that, we need to get a base. So I've got some tracing paper here. Well, it's actually oven paper to get my design. Don't need that yet, really. What I need is a bit of a background. So I've just grabbed my container of scrappy stuff. Let's see what's in here to lay down a surface of which we can then, go from. So this is a great way of using up bits, isn't it? Now I think my page can be a fraction bigger. Let's just check that too. And for a start, my image is going to be going landscape. Unless I change the design and do portrait. Don't know. We'll worry about that when we get to it. So my height, I could probably sneak past my piece of fabric, probably 1 centimetre, and this way maybe 1 centimetre as well. So that's good to know. I can go a little bit bigger. The more space I've got to work with, the better, I think. So if I get that set now, then I know, where I'm heading. So I've just gone past my base just a little bit. Just looking for some random pieces. Great way to use scraps. That's got a nice little edge, so we might turn that around so I can see it. And that can go past. We'll make it go past the seam. Just thinking. Sorry guys, just thinking. Maybe I do it that way. Yeah, I think I'll go that way. The reason I'm doing that is I'm thinking I might trim it with a lace on the side. And this little edge works well to get the height or the width. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if my piece of embroidery or slow stitch is going to go that way or that way. And that's why I think this seam, this turned edge on this piece of old linen, I think will be nicer at the side there or at the top. And then lace comes down the side or down the side. I'm thinking this way. I'm really not sure what I'm thinking, but anyway, it's an interesting piece. I think we need a piece of that. Goodness knows where I got that from. Feels like an old sheet. Actually feels like it's okay. That would make a nice edge. But I just said I wanted to do lace. I wonder. Just never know where it's going to go when you start these things, do you? Might go a little bit wider and get that right up on that edge. Yeah. And then if I need to trim it or not, I can. Let's give ourselves a little bit of wriggle room. I'm going to put that whole piece on there. I really like that little detail. Could even wind ribbon through there. Who knows what will come of this? At the moment, I just want to get some backgrounds down. Give myself a little, gee, it's going to be hard to stitch. That's really dense. Or my pin is really blunt. I'm going to err on the side of my pin is blunt, to be honest. Mr. Fudge has just entered the room. Hey, Fudgy. I'm hoping he'll just jump up in his little hammock and have a little nap. If this piece sits like this is the way I'm loading it onto the page, I sort of like that's the top. Or could go that way. Look, just don't overthink it. I'm just going to go with the flow. Just lay it down. I love that stuff. Just thick and just gorgeous. Very textural fabric. Just a little pop of it. Okay. Don't know what I'm doing there, but anyway. See more holes. Oh, that was an old pre-printed doily that no one ever stitched, and I cut down to make stepping stones on down the garden path. Gorgeous. It was so nice to stitch on. Looks like we're tucking this last little morsel in there. I think once I get this background sort of pieced down, it'll lead me to the fabrics I use for the fruit and where on the page the fruit sit. At the moment, I've got no idea what other bits we got. See, if you throw something like that in, well then you know where your fruit are going now, don't you? You're going down a red path, but I don't know if I want to do that. Or do I? Could be a table that they sit on. You know, see, I like that edge too. the fruit sit on this. See, Susanna's popped them in a bowl. So we certainly need a baseline. We don't have to do a bowl. Susanna will be sitting there going, there she goes. She's off on a tangent. That bowl does sit on that table. I don't mind that, you know. Especially if I move this so that it's like that. Looks like we're going down this line of just never know when I sit down to do these projects where, oh, you guys would know that by now. The girl goes off on a wherever tangent. I like this little cluster thing happening here. I don't know, just like it. We may need to shorten up our fruit bowl because of this little, ow, ow, oh, you nasty little, that was bad, guys. Oh, no need to call an ambulance, but we might need a tourniquet. Oh, you nasty little, it's this little coot here. Okay, I'm just attending to a wound. Oh, he was hiding under that layer of fabric. And I was having a moment enjoying this little thing happening over here, and ouchie. You nasty little. Okay. All right, we're happy with that. And I think my bowl will still fit on there somewhat if we still use the bowl, and then the fruit will sit there. That'll work. Huh. I like it. I like it. Still not sure what's happening with the camphor quilt, but anyway, we've got something happening. Do we want to build on this? Do we want to get, what's this poking out here? I'll just check that all things are finished hemorrhaging here. Oh, boy, that hurt. Some of these pins I've got with the little heads are really sharp. They're really nice little pins to work with. But, oh, when they bite, they bite. Don't mind that. This is part of my mum's blouse that I used in the Roxy Christmas project. I did the blue advent calendar. I put that there. It's sort of fitting. I just, oh gosh, memories. They just pop in at the most random times. Because my parents are small crop farmers. There was always trading going on. You know, they always seemed to know someone who grew mangoes, yet we were more cabbages in winter and collies, broccoli, into summer, zucchinis, button squash, onions, pumpkins, you know, those types of things. Fruit was just not our area. It's too cold. I'm going to put that like that. Like that. So when I was a kid, there was just deals being done all the time. Someone would get a bag of onions, and then sitting on the kitchen bench would be a tray of something. Could be peaches, could be bananas, and it was like all hands on deck because it was a bulk quantity, and it was nearly too much. You could imagine it. And my mum was always like, righto kids, mandarins are on, as in get in here now and start filling your pockets with mandarins because it's time to eat them now. And we'd be just munching and munching on one certain fruit, and then the next couple of weeks in would come some mangoes, and it'd be like, righto kids, mango season's on, munch munch. So yeah, it was it was good, especially when it was a fruit you loved. unfortunately was not many cherries, and that's probably my favourite. I'm going to leave that a little bit interesting there. I think we've already got an extension there, so I'm pretty confident I could cut that off. So to have my mum's blouse pop up in that pile and be connected to a tray of fruit, that just is ironic. All right, I think I'm finished here with me bits. See, it's all these little bits too. They're always good bits, you know. Oh. Who knows? We will dip into there. Okay, I'm happy with that. We've got an interesting little piece. You know the drill. Invisible stitch it all down now. And then while we do that, we can have a little ducky here with his needles. We can have a little think about what stitching we do and where. Do we make this over here quite intense? Do we need the bowl? I don't think we do, you know, because I'm thinking this feels a bit like a cloth. It's got a turned edge there, a hemmed edge. I'm thinking I need to flip that over so I can see that turned edge. No, I can't really, because it would put the stripe up here and I want it here. No, it's all good. Stick with the plan, girl. Don't go and change it. So I'm just going to go straight up here first with this invisible stitching. Oh, come on. The other idea that popped into my head for this prompt of the bowl of fruit was actually making a 3-dimensional pear, because I know it's a little bit, you know, non-Christmas April, but my little Christmas tree has handmade, you know, the really old one I've got, the feather Christmas tree. I made a mushroom and a dolly, a mouse, ballerina mouse at Christmas. And I was sitting there this morning having my coffee because my little tree is still up on the buffet. I just love it so much. I just leave it up. It was out of my grandmother's cupboard, and I think we established it could be 150 years old, from Germany with the big base. Those of you who've been around a while, you'll know exactly the one I'm talking about. Well, I thought I had a brainwave that I could use some fabrics, find myself a 3-dimensional pattern. There's heaps of them free online, and actually make a pear for my Christmas tree. So that's in the back of my brain in honour of this month's prompt of Susanna's and the song Partridge in a Pear Tree. It sort of works. So I'm thinking this month I'm going to be doing 2 projects for the month of April. A 3-dimensional pear for my Christmas tree, and then this stitched page using Susanna's design as my, you know, inspiration. We'll see where it leads. But first things first, let's get the base sorted. I won't stitch right to the very edge of all these little morsels because I might come back through with some lace and tuck some lace in under it. Well, I'm pretty confident I will, to be honest. I sort of feel like we could be a little bit creative over here, and that might help me work out how I'm going to do my fruit. And what do I use? The idea of pulling one of these camphor quilts apart, I do like, but it could end up with some crazy colours. Maybe I can see enough in them by looking down the sides of them to be safe enough to grab one that's pinks, and like that one's not bad. You just don't know, but you sort of gotta spread them a little bit. That one there doesn't look too bad. The other thing is you've got to then spend time pulling all those threads out, which is fun. That one's not bad, you know, even as it is. And the thing I like about it is we've got some different colours here. Front to reverse. But we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? It's just a fleeting idea. Unthreaded needle. Fairy cotton. I've been watching a video on Introduction to Hand Quilting. It goes for nearly 2 hours. This lovely lady talks through everything from picking your batting, your fabric, the pens to use to get the design on. She's made over 200 hand quilted, 200 odd quilts, and only 5 were done on the sewing machine because she just doesn't get on with sewing machines. So she's been hand quilting ever since she attempted to learn it. I'll put a link to the video below. I'm about halfway through. I was just sitting there having my coffee this morning, and I thought, who am I going to watch on YouTube? So I just typed in a random topic, hand quilting of quilts, and this video popped up. It was posted about 10 months ago, 11 months ago, and has had quite a lot of views already. Gosh, she's good. I feel like I'm sitting in a masterclass. So if you want a random rabbit hole to listen to, I should go and pick up my phone before we say goodbye and just tell you the name of the YouTube channel, just in case I forget to link it. I won't forget to link it. It is really interesting. Even marking out the pattern on the fabric to quilt. She's got those nice squirrely, feathery, beautiful design. She uses a watercolor pencil. So when the quilt's washed, it just dissolves and disappears. Which I thought was very clever. Do I want that lower? See, what's caught my eye is that there, but I think I've already stitched it. No, we'll have to put something. That line is meeting there. Like, it's not a big thing, but it is annoying me a little bit. I think I'd want to break it up with, pull the needle out. I've been out gardening, pulling weeds, and my hands felt really rough. Usually takes a couple of days for them to settle back down, so everything's catching. Yeah, I'm lucky I'm not working with some silk or something like that. It'd feel horrible. So yeah, I'm watching hand quilting. Gosh, it's very interesting. Maybe I'll do something like that here. Oh, a scrolly. Can't see why not. I'm breaking a few rules, the texture of all these fabrics. But I probably could do something. Maybe I'll do it just in this area and stay away from this chunky side. I don't think I'd be able to see through these to get the image on there. I'd have to use some charcoal paper or transfer paper or something like that. There's something to think about. Just making sure this little, excuse me, this little morsel here is really well secured. Come on. Okay. I wonder if I enlarged Susanna's image too. If I'm not using the bowl, I wonder what it would look like if I increased it by, I don't know, another 25%. Might make them a little bit more in proportion to my page now. That's, yeah, I might actually do that. I might, when I finish with you guys, I'm going to go off and enlarge them 25% and just see what sizing that is, because I'm going to use this as my tabletop or my bowl, I think, and make them bigger. If I do the bowl, I'd probably make it more of a shallow bowl and cut it down to, you know, through here maybe, so then the fruit could be bigger. That'll be my homework. Have a fiddle around with the sizing of the image. But now I've got at least my background. Don't be so stingy with your thread, girl. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing a quilted design. As in, when I say that, it's those real scrolly images. I'd have to hand draw it. Unless I have a stencil I could use. I wonder what I've got in the way of stencils from my journal making. Because I could use that if I had something suitable, lay it down and then draw it. Oh, might make for an interesting background. That's another idea. So I've got this quilting on my brain now. I'd rather get it out of my head doing a small piece like this than get all gung-ho and start dragging out the sewing machine and making a massive quilt. It's like English paper piecing. Every time I watch someone do it, I get the urge to do some, and then I know it's going to be thought out as an epic project, and I'm going to do about 20 of the little buggers, and that'll be the end of that. Then I'll have this epic project rolling around in a project bag. So I must be strong and only use hexagons. Oh, seriously, it's catching over there. and only use hexagons as needed for small projects. We're not doing a quilt. And hand quilting a whole quilt top, oh my goodness, seriously, that's just silly. So I need to get it out of my system. If I'm going to do camphor quilt fruit using this, I probably should camphor quilt it to keep it within the, oh, this just keeps falling out. Keep it within the, you know, the theme of camphor quilts. But, you know, don't have to, do we? I've got a Irish linen, Italian hemp, French tea towel linen, goodness knows what, a made in probably Bangladesh little linen blouse. Have we seriously got any homage to any particular thing? No, we've just got random pieces of fabric thrown together. It's all about the fruit, girls. Stay focused on the fruit. Just give us a little bit of space in case I want to bring in some embroidery. I'm sure crocheting will end up on this as well. Always does. Just going to whiz along this edge. And I just want to grab my journal again and make sure that my sizing is correct to the page, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and it's just not going to fit. That's pretty good. That whole corner is nice and secure. Yep. Let's just whip along this bottom edge. Gentle, slow, girl. You're going to end up throwing this needle into you. Oh my goodness, that pin. That one. They're good pins, but by hang. Got a bit of a bite on them when they get you. It's all good. I could even put a line of lace along that red band to denote a tablecloth. If this is a table, that red line, we put a line of lace through that looks like a table with a tablecloth on that the fruit sit on. This is another thing we could do. We could create a box for the fruit, like a crate. Oh gosh, now we're getting out of hand. A crate for the fruit to sit in. Oh, goodness me. Watch the pin. What I should have done is pinned it that way, and then as I do the old instinctual flatten it out, the pin is at least facing away from me, which would be the smart thing to do. I'm just going to whiz down this side here. Ow. Oh, seriously. We could do one pair and then heavily stitch and embellish it. You know, like layers. Maybe the camphor quilt will give me different colours, and we break the camphor quilt down, which then exposes lots of different fabrics. What if I don't like the fabrics, but... And how easy is it going to be to pull that old thread out of that? I did pull one of the blue pieces apart that I got from Forage. I got all sorts of lovely colours in there, but they were still all within that blue tone. It's very pretty. Oh, that cotton. That there is so dense, it's hard to get my needle through. You would have to have a really sharp needle to stitch that. I'm glad it's not the whole piece. We've got a few ideas anyway. I'll just whiz along the top there with this last bit of thread. I won't get far, but I'll get a little bit. You see the effort that's going in to stitch that. It's an interesting piece of fabric, but I think I might have actually got that from Rachel. I bought a couple of her fabric packs a year or so ago now, but I'm still using bits of them. That's the beauty of this type of work, is you only need little scraps of things. So it's great to, if you've got a few girls around that you stitch with, you can pick up a piece of fabric and do swaps. Like share some of your treasures with their treasures, and you get yourself quite a variety of fabric. And it's, you only need bits and pieces. It's really good. All right, I'm going to end that. Oh, a couple more stitches. Probably might make it to that. So if I do find a quilting pattern for up there, or as in a stencil that might work, it's not going to be the easiest thing to quilt. So that might be the end of that bright idea. Would be pretty. Got a little stencil I've got in mind, but I'll have to go digging to get it out. I used to use it quite a bit with my journal making, you know, when you rub distressed ink over the page. Ow. So first of all, let's check the journal to make sure I had in mind that it would go here and like that. That's pretty good. So the top to the bottom is good. And if I trim that back when I'm ready to stitch it into the book, it'll be perfect. Maybe a big pair here. Oh gosh, now my stripe's in the wrong spot. No, I think I do need to do it like that. I like how this is sitting over here, like it feels balanced. That line there is the wrong, if I was to do one big pair, that line's in the wrong spot. I'd probably want that line either way over here or back a little bit so the pear wasn't competing with that center line. So I need to stick with the program. I love this edge here. Yeah, it feels balanced. Like, I don't know if the word balanced is the right word, but it feels good. Does that make sense? So it's definitely going this way. Now, two things. Where are my stencils? I think I can put my hands on them. And I also want to get for you the name of this lady I'm watching. So we're 40 minutes in. I'm going to pause it, grab my phone and her details, and we'll dig the stencils out and see if there's an opportunity to get a design here that maybe I could quilt. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Now, first thing, the video I was watching was an introduction to hand quilting. So, an introduction to hand quilting. Now, the lady, Sandy, with an IE, Lush Quilts. She's, it goes for 1 hour and 42 minutes, and I'm 30 minutes into it, and I was like, oh, I've just got to go and do something myself. Like, it inspired me just to get up off the couch and come and piece together this piece, but it sort of has put hand quilting into my mind. So I'm wondering if I can do something on this. So let's make a bit of space here. The theory is that maybe I can use one of my stencils to give me an image easily with a pen onto the fabric. But it's whether I've got something that is suit. That was in my mind, but it's not a line drawing like I thought. So I'm just going to have a little flip through and see. There mightn't be anything here. It might be just a bit of a... That's interesting. I could stitch that. Nearly needs to be a little bit bigger font. That's interesting. Just to put a... It's not quite right, is it? See, it's things like these. I think that's a Jane Davenport. So you can use that to give yourself a shape and then stitch it, a butterfly. Aha. Yeah, Quilting Creations. Okay. That would work. Must have got this at Spotlight. That's a possibility. Colour wheel. See, even things like that would work, wouldn't they? Once you get your line. Some of these are Tim Holtz's little grub roses. I spotted where Fudgy went. He was meowing there and I thought he was heading in our direction, but no, he doubled back and is laying in the sun. Now he's on his way back. Imagine that quilted. Wonder what that'd look like. See, the problem with these little ones is we're not going to have enough space to make a stitch. So keep looking, girl. Not quite right. Oh, I'd love something like that. Just spurting out from the side there. Roses. Mama? Looking at me. That's about it. The rest are stamps. Okay. Well, we've got some possibilities. So, where's my pen? Let's just see how they perform on a piece of paper before I get carried away, because I don't have my iron set up. So if I had that spraying out, what lines am I going to get out of this? Probably not what I'm thinking I'm going to get. If I draw it in, maybe it would work. No, it's not going to work because these are too close together, and once I put my stitch through, that's not going to work. So that eliminates that guy. Like you probably could do something if you were using really small stitches. This I can see will work because it's obviously is a classic quilt pattern. Could probably do half the flower as it's peeking in. So if that was the edge of my fabric, it'd come in from the side. Or do we bring it in from that side? It's not 100% right. If anything, it feels too big for my piece. I'm going to leave that one. This one, I think I'd have to make stitches so small. But that's, I guess, okay. I'm a bit of a seed stitch girl, as you well know now. Maybe I could do something like this. Gosh, the stitch would have to be tiny. But that would make a very interested surface, and it's probably in more perspective to that. So that's a definite possibility. This here, I sort of need to maybe even mark it with a thicker pen, but then they're not heat erasable. I'd have to find a line and stick to it. Maybe I can simplify. It really comes down to, does it suit your piece? Like that little top there, I can adjust that when I go to stitch. But once again, it has to be the smallest stitch, which might be fun to explore, but boy. See, I'm just picking lines out. Like that could work. I tend to think this is better and use an itty bitty stitch. Let's just draw a little bit on. What have we got to lose? Just our sanity when I'm stitching this. If I hate it, I'll iron it out and you will never, ever see it. Yes, you will. You'll know that the girl thought about it. Yes, Fudgy. Oh, I know what I've got. I got my Japanese sashiko stencils. Oh, goodness, why didn't I think of that? Yes, Fudge. I'm going to say that there's going to be a cat visiting any minute. And remembering too, the fabric, this is really dense. So stitching, it's just going to be an absolute pleasure. Like I don't mind that. Okay, Fudgy, puss puss. Maybe I just get it at a bit of an angle through there. Feels like it's too uniform, so I'd have to break that line up a little bit. Let's get some needle and thread, have a little try. Might just use sewing machine cotton at the moment. Just, there's a pussycat jumping up. Oh, hello, fudge. Okay, sewing's about to go out the door because the fudge has arrived. Hey, Fudgy. He's just had some more breakfast. And now he's come to say hello. Hey, Fudge. Where are you going? What you doing? That's a bead, if you're wondering what that is. Careful, Fudgy. He's doing the head bumps. Going to sit down? Going to stay, or you just off to bed? And you've just popped through. Let's have a look at the itty bitty stitches I would need for this. Oh, I know I've got sashiko. Let's throw a little bit of Japanese in here. We've got every other. Oh, that fabric's going to be a nightmare to stitch. The things we do. Be very subtle. Would be different. I've never done this before. I think I need a bigger design, guys. The stitches, not that you can see. There's a cat's head in the way. Oh my goodness, you're a classic, Fudge. Oh, the girls don't need to see what I'm doing. They got the general gist, Fudge. I think they just want to have a look at your lovely fur. Chocolate-coated cat. Hey, Fudgy's a Burmese. They come in a few different colours. Casper was a lilac. Fudgy is a brown. He's got the tips. Okay. Yeah, I'm finding that I'm getting 1 or 2 stitches. Let's see if I can slide up to the camera. I'm getting 1 or 2 stitches in, and then the arc is changing. So it's too small of a design for what I have in mind. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to dig out my Japanese container of fabrics and see if there's anything there. Oh, Fudgy, careful. Come on, let's hop you down. That's a boy. Off you go. He's now smooching my leg. Yeah, I'm going to iron that out and have a little bit more of a look and see if there's anything that catches my eye. If it doesn't matter, but it certainly is an idea that's, you know, floating around in my mind. And yeah, see what comes. There's a thread that's hanging out in the air there. See what comes of it and where it fits or not. All right, I might say goodbye and do a little bit more research. I'll also have to then make a decision before the next video on how we do the fruit and the camphor fabric. Pretty sure I will use it, but I just would love to. It's sitting, I'm hoarding it like enough's enough. That one there is pretty good. I can see colours in there that look quite neutral to this. So that one there's got probably potential. They're all very dark. It is a bit of a jackpot thing. See, there's a green. Maybe they're more pear-like. There's a purpley tone. That's a possibility to have a little look at. And then this one here, as it stands, don't pull it apart. Lots of texture, has potential too. So I think they're the ones. All right, I'm going to leave you alone and I'll catch you next week with I guess the next stage. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Thanks for popping in, and yeah, have a lovely day. See yous. Hi everyone, I'm back. So when I hopped up, I put those stencils away. I ironed off the design that I had drawn. Then I went to the cupboard to see the Japanese stencils. So I thought I think I filmed like 14 minutes. So I know we've got a little bit of time. I thought I'd just come back and see if one of these will work. And then at least it's out of my head, out of the ideas. Don't mind that one. It's very similar to the one that I was just playing with. At least it's a little bit bigger. I don't think I want anything geometrical. I sort of want it a bit more flowing. They're all very geometrical. I don't want the waves. Like that to me feels like it's something. Oh, I like it on that angle, on that axis. Bring it back down into this. Oh, I like that. Bit of it will be covered by pears. I think I like that. Did I turn the camera on? Am I actually recording? Yes. I like that, guys. It sort of becomes then part of the cluster. I might just off-center that line. It's a very rough cut stencil. So that's the sound you can hear as the nib of my pen is dragging. Yeah, I think this is going to be good. And I might, to make it feel less sashiko, I might use quite a thick thread so it becomes more of a quilted feel. Does that make sense? I'll still use pearl cotton, but I won't be using a fine sewing machine thread. I want it to be part of my background treatment. Could even do it in red as I come down the bottom here and glance at that red line, but I don't think I will. Could do a blue. Yeah, this is going to work. Bit bigger stitch, feels a little bit more in proportion. Gosh, I can't even get to some of those marks. Oh, I don't want to use pencil. Come on. There we go. Oh, I just had it sticking up in the air too much. Put some pressure on it, girl. Lean into the task. Okay. That's better. I'll find my own way anyway once I get the needle and thread happening. But at least a bit of a guide of direction of stitch would be good. Could even use white sashiko thread, then it'd be a subtle thing. Maybe we do that. If it goes too bold, it's competing against the pairs, which we really don't know what they're going to be made of yet. When I pulled out the Japanese fabric, I found another container of old pieces of quilt, and that sent me down another rabbit hole in my head. Thought maybe I could use some old quilt, so we might just stick our nose in that container before we part company. It's coming together. These things tend to evolve, don't they? Have I got all the lines? There we go. Oh, love it. Love it. Okay. Put that back into the Japanese. Now, let me show you this box of tricks. This is pieces of quilt. See, it's this quilt video I watched is the problem. That's all hand stitched. The layers in there. It's quite interesting what she said about batting. And if you hand quilt, you want batting that doesn't pull through. Look, you've got to watch the video. Like, there's so many morsels of information in it. I use that as part of my Christmas project when I made the staff at the top of the tree. Nothing jumping out. Oh, English paper piecing. Oh, look, see, don't do it, girl. Just admire what you got. Oh, my goodness, the work. The work that's gone into that. Oh, these have just come from packs that I see on Etsy. Every so often I'll just type in quilt scraps, quilt English paper piecing scraps. This is an old Japanese fabric quilt. Isn't that just gorgeous? I've never cut into it because I feel like it's a piece waiting for something to be added to it. Love the colours. I've got a couple little morsels where I've used this and this, but then there were these bigger pieces. There's another one there. And I don't know if I'll ever cut into them. Who knows? Who knows? One can't commit to anything particular. There's nothing in that makes me feel like cares. That's good. We've got that out of the system. So we're still in this particular category. But we'll see. Let's just get this stitched, and then I'll think about what other stitching happens elsewhere, like a little bit of stitching there. And I'm thinking along the lines of actually using the sashiko thread. Where's my container? Hold that thought. I'll be back in a second. My little bag of fabric might have some, ow, oh, just knocked my knee on the corner of the table. Sorry, guys. I have a feeling, yeah, here, look. There's some little threads in here, I'm positive. Look, there's blues. See, this is why I can never find threads. There's some needles. Bitten by the bug is where I get my Japanese fabrics from. She has, see this? That's left over from when I did a Japanese just don't even mind that. you finish your sentences, girls. When I made this bag, plus other projects, I stitched, you know, a heap of these just to see what all this pre-printed panels of sashiko was like. And I had some thread left, so I could use that, or I could be bold and use that. So this is a wonderful, variegated, ever so subtle. The only thing with this blue is it really locks me in to colours, doesn't it? So if I use the blue, I could use that, which eliminates those, but I don't mind that. Oh, decisions, guys, decisions. All right, I will surprise you in the next video. What will she choose, the blue or the white? And you guys will all comment, telling me what you guys would probably choose, and I would have already stitched it. So it's I certainly won't be following any any color suggestions because I would have already stitched it by the time you guys watch it. So going white. I want to keep it neutral so the fruit or my pears pop. So that's where we're going at the moment. All right, now I'm definitely saying goodbye. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.